It took 3 full weeks, 17 days, but we finally got a response from Kendrick Lamar. And I'm not going to lie to y'all, it's sounding crazy. I'm not going to waste too much of y'all's time with the intro, so remember to like the video, subscribe, and let's dive right into it. So, Kendrick woke up on a Tuesday morning and just decided, fuck it, let me drop the diss track. And he has shooken up the whole rap game. It's only been a couple hours, and he's been trending on Twitter. It's been going crazy. It's averaging like 1 million views an hour at the time I'm recording this, which is insane. I think it's even higher than that at this point. So he's definitely shook up the whole scene by dropping this diss track, and he caught everybody out left field just on a random Tuesday morning. And to make note, he also did drop the same week that Taylor Swift dropped. So actually, no, it's been a week since the Tortured Poets Department, so I guess Drake is right in that sense. He did wait a week after Taylor Swift dropped. But let's dive right into this diss track, man. So this was a 6-minute long diss track, which is pretty crazy. And, I listened to it this morning. I didn't really listen to it. I sort of just brushed over it. And my first thought was that sonically it didn't sound that great, but I didn't get a chance to sort of dive into the lyrics. And, a little later, I sort of took a step back, read the lyrics, and listened to the song a few times while I was reading the lyrics or had them pulled up. And I'm not gonna lie, he sort of bodied Drake. I think Kendrick definitely did some damage with this one. He didn't say anything really crazy. It's just sort of the way he was saying things that, a lot of the stuff that he stated on the track were things that we already knew about Drake. He didn't say anything out of left field or anything that's sort of exposing Drake. It's just sort of the delivery of everything that really solidified this diss track. Some of my favorite ones were the Sexy Red line. That one was hilarious, bro, where he says, when you're with Sexy Red, I believe you see two bad bitches and y'all might be throwing ass together. Bro, that was pretty funny. I'm not going to lie, because Drake is around Sexy Red a lot. He also did address that tailor-made freestyle. He said, I'm ready to double the wage. I'd rather do that than let a Canadian guy make Pac turn in his grave. So he's addressing Drake using AI voices to emulate Tupac and Snoop Dogg on the track that he dropped tailor-made freestyle right after Push-Ups. The use of Pac's voice from Beyond the Grave especially bothers Kendrick, as the late rapper has been consistently cited by Dot as one of his biggest idols and inspiration, both from musical and societal justice standpoints. Also, just both being West Coast guys, I'm sure it really bothered Kendrick, so this is something he had to address on the track. That was one of, a cool bar that he had. I also like the Cole and Aubrey, I'm a selfish guy, the crown is heavy. I pray they my real friends. If not, I'm YNW Melly. That was a pretty crazy bar, bro. This whole track, we can go on for 30-40 minutes just looking at all the bars in this track. What I do think is Kendrick has the upper hand on this lyrically. He's showing off his rapping ability on this one. I do think that Kendrick is a better lyricist than Drake. I think that there's not really much getting around Kendrick's lyricism, and even though he didn't really say anything too crazy in terms of like exposing anything about Drake, I think the big differential is that Drake's push-up song sounds a lot more, I guess, elementary rhyme scheme, versus Kendrick's song had a couple different flows. He had a couple different rhyme schemes. He sort of attacked it in a better... Sorry, my bad. There's a school bus going by in the background. But Kendrick sonically didn't wash Drake, because Drake had the catchier song. Drake had, I guess, the more appealing song for like the average listener, but Kendrick definitely lyrically washed Drake and showed that he can put together a diss track better than Drake as of right now. But at the same time, in public beefs like this, the only thing that really matters is public perception. So if the public perception is that Drake washed Kendrick, or that Kendrick took too long to reply, or that Drake has a catchier song, or Kendrick's song has no replay value, then the Drake stans are all going to say that Drake won. And being that Drake has the bigger mainstream audience, and just the bigger audience period, and the bigger amount of people that are going to do mental gymnastics to defend Drake, I think that there's really no losing overall for Drake, because let's look at it this way. Kendrick is a man of the art. He cares about the lyricism. He cares about the rap as an art form itself. And Drake cares about the numbers. He cares about being the biggest artist. He cares about breaking all the records. So naturally, that's two distinctions there that you can't really mix well together. You're not going to ever get a clear-cut winner. I think in this situation, both of the rappers are going to come out on top. We still have a good amount of back and forth to come back. I think the next couple months are going to be jam-packed with diss tracks. I think we're going to get 2 to 4 rounds of this back and forth. And I think that in the end, both rappers are going to benefit off of this because public perception is king in rap. So the public is going to think that Drake had the catchier song, and I think even if in his response, if he comes back with a catchy like back-to-back type record, he doesn't have to say anything crazy about Kendrick. He just has to have the catchier hit song, and the perception will be Drake washed Kendrick because people are still bumping Drake's diss track. People are still listening to that a lot more heavily than they are to Euphoria or whatever Kendrick applies to with next. But I think also Kendrick is going to win in the sense that lyrically he washed Drake, and people are going to solidify him as the better pure rapper versus Drake as the better mainstream artist and the mainstream seller. So I think, this is going to benefit both of them. They're both going to, there's not going to be a clear-cut loser. Nobody's going to get buried. Nobody's career is going to be deeply affected because at this point, both artists are too big to fail, and you're not really going to leave too big of a stain on their legacy. I think Drake has more of a legacy to stain, not more of a legacy to stain, but he's more at risk of his legacy being stained. But for him, as long as the numbers don't decrease, I feel like he doesn't care. I genuinely feel like that as long as Drake is still selling 200-300K a project, he's not going to care. He's a guy who's on the tail end of his career. I don't think we have another decade of Drake. I think we have another maybe 4 or 5 years of Drake music. So I think as long as he knows that for the next 4 or 5 years he's still going to be able to sell well, he's not going to take this as a loss. But we are going to see a Drake response soon, I do believe. I believe within the next week we'll see a Drake response. And, it's 50-50. I think that right now where it stands, every time one of these guys replies, the whole internet is going to go to their side and be like, oh, shit, he just washed him. He just buried him. He's going crazy on him. He's on his neck, bro. He's not letting him breathe. And I think that's going to be what happens as soon as Drake drops, because right now that's sort of what's happening with Kendrick dropping. The only thing I've seen negatively about Kendrick's diss track is that the Drake D-Riders are on Twitter saying that Kendrick's song has no replay value. Bro, it's been 4 or 5 hours at the time I'm recording this since it's been out. Guys have been able to hear it maybe 6-7 times, and even then, at that point, you're listening to it so much on repeat that you're not wanting to listen to it anymore. You're just, your body wants to listen to something else. You don't want to listen to the same 6-minute track 5-6 times. So obviously you're going to say there's no replay value. And, I feel like it's too early to tell. Give it about a week and then we'll be able to see if it has any replay value to it. But I think, it's a cool diss track. I really liked it. I think he did a good job for the response. I think this is the best job that Kendrick could have done for the first response. We still have another round of this to go at least. But at the same time, I think that sonically, I'm not saying it doesn't have any replay value. I'm just saying sonically, I think Push Ups is the better track. But lyrically, I do believe that Euphoria is the better track. So as of where it stands right now, I think that Kendrick has the upper hand for sure. I think right now it's 1-0 Kendrick. Like that does not count. Like that was just a sort of bait, a sort of like, all right, come on, let's play. Let's get at it, bro. Come on. But it wasn't an official shot. The first official diss track between this Kendrick and Drake back and forth, I would say, is Push Ups. And even Push Ups, I really don't want to count it because it was sort of a track that's targeting everybody. It's not just targeting Kendrick. So I would like to see Drake drop a record where he's just targeting Kendrick. But, for now, we'll consider round 1 Push Ups versus Euphoria. And, man, I can't lie. Euphoria comes out on top. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I think that Euphoria is definitely the better track lyrically. I guess like if I wanted to throw on one of the two just as like background music, I would much rather throw on Push Ups just because, sonically it sounds good. But I think in terms of the better disses and the better rhyme schemes and the better bars, Euphoria is on top. So Kendrick's up 1-0 right now. We're going to see what Drake responds with. Whenever he responds, I'll have a video probably the same day about it. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I'd like to know what you had to say. Do you think that Kendrick's out on top right now, or do you think that Drake's on top right now? Remember to like the video, guys, subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.